Christian Horner's future in Formula One racing isn't decided yet, and it looks like this British guy will have lots of choices when it comes to staying in the sport. However, while many people think he'd try to become a team boss, people who know, insider secrets say something much bigger and more shocking. He wants to own a team, but which racing team out there would want to sell part of their team to Horner, who's been with Red Bull since the very beginning in 2005? And more importantly, will all the fighting and drama inside the Austrian team affect what happens to him in F1? There's no doubt that firing Christian Horner from Red Bull was one of the biggest surprises in the world of Formula One, even though we thought everything was fixed and hidden away, just like Marco said a few months ago, for the sake of the championship battle with McLaren. That didn't seem to be what really happened after all. Once the oldest son of Challenger, the owner of the Thai part of Red Bull, sold 2% of his shares, the ownership numbers changed to Austria. They now own 51% of the team, and the first thing they did was get rid of Horner. Even so, we're going to see some interesting things happen in the future about Horner's place in Formula One. He's not finished yet. Maybe all the fighting inside the team made people wonder if he really deserves to be in those jobs, but having 20 years of experience, leading your team to 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructor championships is not a small thing to do. And that's why Martin Brundle thinks that after everything that happened at Red Bull and after all of Horner's tries to grab as much power as he could inside the team, he's not going to accept anything less than becoming a team owner, explaining. More about this, the F1 expert said, Christian wanted full control of what he felt he built at Red Bull and what's best for the team in a fast-moving, very specialized business. I think he pushed too hard, and once the support from the 51% Uvidia family went away in the big picture, Red Bull Austria headquarters got rid of Christian at the first chance, given other things that have happened since Bahrain last year. Especially about Max's very powerful father, Jos Verstappen, it was game over. I'm pretty sure Christian will be back sooner than later, this time with some ownership and control. We can't ignore everything that happened in Red Bull's inside power fight. Even though Horner was said to be innocent by the court, the Austrian team started their own investigation about his pushy and bossy behavior toward a female worker. And this is the weird thing about the situation. Legally, he was innocent, but nobody at Red Bull believed that. And that's exactly why we should be thinking about Horner's future outside of the Austrian team too. Will other teams like Alpine, which is the loudest one in the paddock when it comes to wanting his services, think about this before they hire Horner? I really doubt it, because at the end of the day they brought Briatore back, and we know how much Crashgate hurt the sport when he was the team boss of Renault. Altogether, there was a missing piece at Red Bull that just had to fall on Horner's shoulders as the last thing that the Austrian team won't put up with, and that's the lack of good performance. Even Helmut Marko talked about this, saying that while there's tons of noise around why Horner is no longer part of Red Bull, including the inside investigation and the WhatsApp leaks, the fact that the team didn't move forward and lost tons of valuable people in just 1 year was the final nail in the coffin for his future with Red Bull. So what's next for Horner from this point? He does have a dark mark on his career that I don't think he will erase that quickly no matter what he does next. However, when you have so much knowledge and you're at the level you are in Formula One, people will start to get interested. Ferrari won't be interested because they just renewed their contract with Vassar, putting full trust in the Frenchman that the new rules are going to change how they perform in Formula One. On the other hand, we can't say the same thing about Alpine. A lot of changes are coming to the Aston-based team, with the most important one being that they will become a Mercedes-powered team starting in 2026. It should give them enough help to try and fight in the middle group if everything else works outright. But what's more important is that they still need to fix the problem with their second driver. Gasly is the only one scoring points for Alpine right now. And while they are the best last-place team in the history of the sport right now, that's not enough to keep hopes up for 2026. Briatore said it loud and clear, we're going to do whatever it takes to push the team to great heights and to bring it where it belongs, back on top. So I can clearly see Horner in the big picture stuff for Alpine. In a similar way to how Rob Marshall helped rebuild the entire technical organization of McLaren back when he was hired by the Woking-based team in 22-3. In general, Alpine are also willing to sell a big part of their team because they need money support from everywhere they can get it. The Hollywood money has probably been focused on 2026 because of how much potential and how many unknowns the new technical rules have in them. And this year, I think the main goal for Alpine would be to fix the management and leadership structures. They have again, despite everything that happened between Horner and Red Bull. You can't take away the fact that he's one of the greatest leaders in the sport. You don't stay through good times and bad times with a team, change a couple of engine makers, and bring them back to winning championships in a dominating way if you don't know what you're doing. And besides Martin Brundle, who thinks that the ownership role would fit Horner? Nico Rosberg strongly believes that Christian coming back to Formula One with the Aston-based team could only do good things for everyone involved. Explaining more about this, Rosberg said, "I think Alpine could make a lot of sense. Get a couple of % ownership in the team with Briatore as the chairman and then he's the CEO. I think that would make a lot of sense. That would be a great story. There are some interesting reunions that would happen if Horner were to go to Alpine. Remember 2019 and Gasly's treatment with Red Bull? The Austrian team gave him a chance. 13 races only, or more exactly, one half of the season, after he was lapped by Verstappen in Hungary. The last race of the first half, he was sent back to Toro Rosso and replaced with Albon. Since then, Pierre has been proving Red Bull wrong on many occasions, winning a Grand Prix in 2020 in Italy as well. But all of this wasn't enough for him to get promoted for the second time, and now we've seen what he can do once the chains are off. So, under new management and a new structure, could Horner and Gasly work together? The Frenchman believes that we haven't seen the last of his former team boss and that we need to be very careful about how things develop. And when talking about it more, Gasly said, "I think Horner's qualities can't be questioned because when you've got the number of championships in 20 years of a career, you can only respect all the successes with the team, and what he's done with Red Bull Racing over there is very remarkable and very impressive. He's very, very good at what he's been doing with the team. I'm sure we're going to see him somewhere." Because that kind of experience and skills, I'm sure some teams will be interested in Christian. I really believe that if Alpine were to ask anyone about signing Christian or giving him a leadership role, that would be Gasly. He's worked with the British guy in the past. And there's literally no way he wouldn't have a say in this matter even. Though he's just a driver, all in all, Horner's future hasn't been decided yet. But as things stand right now, the British guy is likely to return to a leadership role, whether that would be as a team boss or a team owner. Many have suggested that he could aim for something bigger like being the president of the FIA with Toto Wolff, making jokes that he needs to watch his language now that Horner could replace Ben Sulayem, but according to Bernie Collins, that's very unlikely to happen because of Christian's nature and DNA, as the Sky F1 expert said. Just on the FIA point, I can imagine Toto's fear. I can understand that for sure. Christian is the same as Max Verstappen. He's a fighter. He loves being part of the team. He loves the competition and he wants to beat Toto. There's that rivalry there. He's not doing that in the FIA, so I can't see him ending up somewhere like that where he doesn't have that competitive spirit. He doesn't have a team behind him that he can make his own and where he can show how well he's helped the team grow. With all of this in mind, do you think that Horner will get the CEO treatment from Alpine? And if not, where do you think we're going to see the British guy after his 20-year time with Red Bull? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.